What's going on, urban CEOs? And this is Taria, Vision of Violence. Let me make sure I get my heads right. You know, my head feelings right. Yes, honey. Yes. How y'all doing? So this is another edition of As Real as It Gets TV. And we have, again, like I always like to say, an incredible show ahead of you guys. Make sure, do me a favor, if you're watching this show, no matter where you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, do your girl a favor, leave a comment, let us know exactly who you are, what it is that you do. And guys, I'm letting you know, we're going to start shouting out people. So if you leave a comment and we happen to see your information on the thread, we may even shout you guys out. So we're going to start shouting out our urban CEOs who are plugged into our show As Real as It Gets TV. Also, another favor, please share this video. Please tag some people. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Well, y'all, I'm ready to get into this. We have another incredible guest. And of course, our incredible ambassadors are going to be on the show today. How you doing? And let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to get to our first commercial break. And then we're going to bring up one of our ambassadors to tell you guys the quote of the day. So let's go ahead and get into that commercial break. And I will see y'all in a second. Deuces.
Hi, my name is Angela Taylor, the founder and CEO of So Lovely Creation Boutique and Angela Sky Collection. I created Angela Sky Collection to tell my story, to tell my journey. I believe that fashion speaks value, and I believe that it tells everyone's story because it gives you a chance to create something that you love, create something that other people will enjoy and love too. Everyone has a story to tell, and I hope that you guys can truly find your own voice, and maybe So Lovely Creation Boutique and Angela Sky Collection can help you find that voice by wearing some of my items that has boisterous words on there and expresses feeling.
All right, urban CEOs, we are back from that incredible commercial break. I am so excited because now we get to bring up, y'all, I got stuff all on my lips. Let me get myself together. Okay, but we good. But I'm so excited because we get to bring on one of our awesome ambassadors who's going to talk to you guys about some incredible announcements. And so without further ado, I would like to bring her on the line. What's going on in your hood?
Hello. What's going on? Listen, I am Dr. Stevie Aisha Mills, and these announcements are just as red, hot, and rolling as my girl Taria. So listen up, grab your pen and your pad, and let's talk. So I am excited that I get to be not only an Urban CEO ambassador, but a professor. So if you are a coach, an expert, or someone in a space who has lots of knowledge, we are looking for you. It's a great experience to be a professor. And if you want to know more details, all you have to do is to email support@urbanceonetwork.com. Again, support@urbanceonetwork.com. Put in that subject line, professor, so we can know that it's coming for this, all right? And talking about being an ambassador, honey child, we are looking for you. YOU, wherever you are. All you have to do is go to urbanceonetwork.com and you click on contact and you'll be able to apply. Yes. One more announcement coming from my camp is that I want as many people as possible to get on the news. So if you go to howtomakeittothenews.com, then you can learn how to do that. So Again, I am Dr. Stevie Aisha Mills. I'm so excited about getting people seen and getting paid. And I turn it back over to Saria.
Well, thank you so much, Stevie. Yes, let me tell you something. Stevie is our official publicist for Urban CEO Network. So y'all make sure that y'all plug into her. She's got the goods. She can definitely get you guys on the news. And so thank you so much for those announcements. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to another break. By the way, if you want to be on Urban CEO's show, As Real As It Gets TV, all you got to do is send us an email and we'll let you know how you can have your business promoted in front of thousands. All you got to do is send an email to support@urbanceonetwork.com. All right, so let's go to our commercial break. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Taria Vision Avant, and I wanted to just jump up here real quick and tell you, have you heard about the Urban CEO Network? Darling, if you have not heard about Urban CEO, then you need to make sure that you jump on board. Right now, we have a special so that you can actually be a part of our Urban CEO Academy, which is our monthly membership program, where not only do you get exclusive access to events, discounts, and things of that nature, but you also get training that's designed to help you to grow your business. Right now, you can join for 7 days for free and see what we're all about. All you need to do is go to urbanceoacademy.com and check us out. For real. Like, we're the fastest growing organization right now, designed to help men and women that come from the urban community that want to grow in business, that want to grow in their career, or you simply just want to be able to grow in your life. Urban actually stands for unapologetic, real bold, action-oriented, and non-conforming. So come over here, check us out, join. We want you to be a part of what we're doing. 7 days free. You have really, it's a win-win situation, so you can see what we're all about, all right? So join. I look forward to seeing you guys there. I'm going to talk to you later. Deuces.
Hello, beautiful people. I am super excited to be here with you today on As Real As It Gets TV. Taria, you're the best. That was a weird heart, but it's all right. So my name is Chanel Spencer. I am the CEO of Maximum Evolution, and I help women to transform and to create their own tables, because we are no longer fighting or waiting for a seat at anybody else's table. We're just going to go and build our own. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Chanel Spencer Now, and go to www.readytotransformnow.com, because you need me now. You need to transform now, not 5 minutes from now, not tomorrow, today, right now, in this second. So thank you. And today's quote of the day is, "It is your road and yours alone. Others can walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you." And that is by the amazing Rumi. And thank you for being here and tuning in. Bye, beautiful people. Back to you, Taria.
All right, y'all. So this is Taria Vision Avant. Well, y'all already know my name by now, right? I think I've been saying it throughout the whole show, but I'm super excited to have you guys back. I love doing this show, As Real As It Gets TV, because, our mission is to be able to bring on so many different people from so many different backgrounds. But as you know, our goal is to be able to connect with individuals who have a connection to the urban community that are looking for that bridge to success. And so today we have another one of our incredible guests that's going to be on the show. So let me go ahead and bring him up on the screen so y'all can see his beautiful picture. I'm sorry, I call all men beautiful as well, so just don't take offense to that. But let me tell you a little bit about our guest today. His name is Joey Womack, and his life purpose is to equalize those around the world, and goal to positivity is to influence 1 billion people by the year of 2039. Well, I love that number, 1 billion. That is so fire. I love. He is also a part-time entrepreneur coach and in part super connector. Now, what's dope about him is he leads WeWork's entrepreneurship program. And if anybody in Atlanta as a lab manager, and if anybody knows me, y'all know I did a lot of stuff up there in WeWork back in Atlanta when I was staying there. So that's dope. He's got a lot of stuff going on, y'all. He's the founder of Goodie Nation, a tech nonprofit that accelerates relationships to influencers, large companies, and investor funders for the next generation, promising diverse founders and social entrepreneurs finally, he's also the founder of Amplify for Good, a mission-driven agency that uses rapid problem solving to help large companies, nonprofits, sounds like we need your help, and government agencies to create a social impact, as well as the co-founder of the Atlanta Black Tech. Y'all, I want y'all to give it up for none other than our incredible guest today, none other than Joey Womack. What's going on, King? How you doing today?
Pretty good. It's been a hectic last few months. But I've been energized. I'm rested the last few days, and I'm back in the game.
Absolutely. Look, I'm with you on that. These last few months have definitely been, I don't even know. It's so many words that I can give to it as far as just revelational. I think that might be made up, but revelational in so many ways. Okay, we're going to go with it. All right, cool. Yeah. But listen, I really am grateful that you're here. And I'm pretty sure for you that, the way of operating business has definitely changed, especially since you're connected to co-working spaces and things of that nature. Now, today's show, the title is about relationship matters for diverse entrepreneurs. But before we get into that, we were having a conversation before we got on, and you were telling me that you went to an HBCU. For those individuals, you know what? See, listen, I wasn't going to go there. It's something about y'all FAMU people. Y'all really arrogant as all get out. It's okay. You're supposed to rep your HBCU. So shout out to anybody that went to that. What's the school again? Okay, but for those individuals, this is their first time seeing you, Joey. Do us a favor. I know I didn't give you much justice, but tell us a little bit about how did you get to where you are today?
A voice, bottom line. That's a consistent theme I tell, entrepreneurs and other people. Actually, when I was in high school, I went to a pre-college engineering program at Tuskegee, heard a voice there, and guided me to tell the truth. That professor there taught me how to build websites. One day leaving class, I heard a voice again to tell me and it said, do it. I knew exactly what it was. I then launched my first true tech startup and did it full time after graduating. And it took all those lessons learned after building that company to kind of top 3 in the country for that particular space, that particular industry, and used it to coach entrepreneurs for the last 10 years or so.
Man, that's dope. First of all, Tuskegee is the sister school to Hampton University. So I don't know if you knew that, but I'm going to put you on. I also went to pre-college. Is that like an HBCU thing, or do all colleges do that? I don't even know.
I mean, strong black colleges, to get, to train the next generation of folks.
Absolutely. Now, what's funny and what you may not even know about me, I actually went to school for computer science. So I'm a little bit of a techie as well. Nice. I love my gadgets. I'm the girl that, I don't want bags and shoes. I want gadgets. I have a problem. I have to stay out of Best Buy because it's a deal. All right. But anyway, so that's dope. So you were able to launch into this tech space. Now, where are you today? What is it, where are you today in regards to the tech space? And we service urban CEOs, urban entrepreneurs, urban corporate climbers. Where do you help in that space?
Sure. So I'm a natural community builder. So that first tech startup was focused on parties, quite honestly. I bring folks together. I was that kid growing up that organized all the football and basketball games in the neighborhood. So I just transitioned from doing that growing up to in college, through the frat with the events. And then I did my startup around events. So I started throwing my own events and started bringing folks together offline, but also online. And so I know a lot of different people in a lot of different kind of categories and realms and social circles. And so it's really my mission to bring the power of what we call social capital together to create efficiency to push our world forward.
I love that. And so, okay. No, go ahead. I love that.
No, yeah. And so as it relates to, the tech space, it's, with the state of it, it's with the Atlanta Black Tech. So building or bringing everyone together in Metro Atlanta to do a few things. One, improve the quality of Black people in the tech space across K-12, across government, across corporate, and then entrepreneurship. Improve the quality of them, and then just build more connections. And then on the entrepreneurship piece around diverse founders and also social impact founders, it's giving giving them what they need to reach their potential.
Super dope. And that actually leads to really what the topic of our talk is all about, in talking about being able to build those relationships with diverse entrepreneurs. And when you say diverse entrepreneurs, are you really referring to people from all different backgrounds and walks of life? Is that what you're meaning?
Yeah. So for the most part, when we say diverse, we mean Black,
Yes.
Latinx, women from all backgrounds. It's basically people that have a hard time, that are traditionally underrepresented in tech. And also that can vary depending on where in the world you go, right? It could also be military veterans. It could be those based on sexual orientation and things of that nature. So it's really kind of all over the board.
Okay.
But I typically focus on Black and brown founders.
Okay, cool. So all my Black and browns, all my urban CEOs, y'all need to make sure that y'all do reach out to Joy. So let's get deeper into it. So when we talked about building relationships, for me, I'm going to be honest, the reason why we decided to bring about urban CEOs, because for me, like, I've always been like an entrepreneur. I only ever worked it's funny because I went to school for technology, but I ended up doing this. I'm speaking, coaching, helping people to write books. I always tell people, though, because of the background of what I learned through school, I know that's helped me to learn how to problem solve and learn how to be able to fix situations. But I still had found myself in positions where I would be overwhelmed with information, or sometimes the resources that were available to me, because I've always been an entrepreneur, didn't necessarily make sense. And so we wanted to be able to provide an environment for people that maybe they didn't come from the space of even college. I mean, let's just be real. Or maybe they didn't come from the space of, corporate and things of that nature, but they want an opportunity. And so I love the fact that you're doing something in the technology space, because like you said, not enough of us are being represented. And I will say not enough of us are being represented at a high level, right? We're getting in some areas of,
right,
even like with business, but we're not being represented at a high level. And so for you, Joy, what does that representation at a high level look like?
Oh man, at a high level, it is people from an entrepreneurship standpoint. It's people that are making decisions on how to deploy capital, either from a venture standpoint or from, let's say, like a traditional bank or something like that. It's people that can raise enough money to then hire the future leaders of their companies at the early employee stage, right? So you're hiring people, and they don't have to be of color, but in many cases they will, because, again, relationships matter. And then those individuals, because they're early employees, if the company blows up to be the next Zoom, the next Facebook, Twitter, so on and so forth, like even like a TikTok, right? When those companies sell or go public, the people that were hired early on, like those first 10, 15, 50, 100 people, they're going to become millionaires, in some cases billionaires, right? And so we talk about like leadership and stuff like that. Like, we're talking about getting people in at that stage, and that's how you start to close the racial wealth gap in this country.
Wow. Okay, well, let's talk about it then. So, because in technology, another challenge is, I know me, I was an introvert, and I used to say was because I had to really kind of get out of that shell. I mean, as a techie, all you want to do is get on your computer and just mind your business, right? And so
Sure.
I think it's so important that we do have these conversations about relationships. My first question is, what are some of the mistakes that you do see people that are in the technology space when it comes to relationships? What are the mistakes that they make? And what are your suggestions on building those better relationships that are going to take you to a high level of just the competition when it comes to the tech world?
Sure. So in the tech space, especially around entrepreneurship, we see that founders of color typically raise money at 2 venture investment levels lower than where their progress indicates. So, for example, their counterparts, particularly those that are white males, they'll given the same amount of progress, those white male founders oftentimes will raise $1 million. However, with the same progress level, founders of color typically will only receive $25,000 to $50,000 of venture investment funding, which is ridiculous, right? And so this boils down to a few different things. One is around pathways to learn how to become a high-level entrepreneur. 2 is around access to large companies that can serve as reference customers. But the main thing is access to people that work for well-established tech companies and people that have graduated from quote unquote prestigious universities. And so that's the gate that we have to break through, whether it's right or if it's wrong. Getting connected to people from quote unquote prestigious tech companies and universities is really the key to unlocking a lot of this stuff. And so in many cases, people in technology, to your point, may not necessarily be the most social, which is interesting from a people of color standpoint. Like many of us can be introverts, but we can flip it at the drop of a dime.
Absolutely.
Like most people, like I host parties, but my people from like high school were like, nah. Joey doesn't do this type of stuff. He doesn't throw a party for 3,000 people. You know what I'm saying? He can't. No. Like I was that kid that sat in the corner, didn't say much. But we can put it like this: Black people in this country have been innovating for 400 years, right? And so flipping a switch in many cases is nothing new, but it has to be done. Right now, there are some, unfortunate, like intrinsic kind of barriers to that from a cultural standpoint. The concept of code switching is difficult for most of us.
Mm-hmm.
Even and I kind of end here. Even the personal decision on whether to code switch or not, whether it's right or wrong, is something that prevents us from developing relationships that can unlock a lot of money for us.
You know what's crazy about the code switching situation is that I have been around extremely wealthy, men, mostly, but women as well, from, other cultures, right? And they don't code switch. And let's just be real. They talk how they want to talk. They act how they want to act. But we sometimes feel like we have to. I'm glad you kind of mentioned that, because for me, I'm going to be honest, Joey, I love being myself. And I have found that just being me has actually attracted more people into my life to where I'm able to do more with it. Because I guess people can feel a little bit more comfortable with me just naturally being myself. Does that make sense? I don't know.
No. So I'll explain in the concept of like sports, right? So think about like basketball or football players. A rookie gets into the league, or a freshman goes to college, and they oftentimes the talent remains the same, but however, they don't necessarily perform to their potential because they're learning, a new playbook, they're learning new terminology, they're learning how the system goes, and so therefore they're thinking way too much and they slow down. And when you slow down, you can't perform to your potential. So the concept of code switching in your mind, when you have to just quickly stop and switch, prevents you from moving fast. And as an entrepreneur, especially in the tech startup world, it's nothing but speed. And eventually, if you just slow yourself down, you're going to get passed by.
That's good. So I don't know if you answered my other question. How do we build those relationships, Joey? Hook a girl up. What we need to do to build these, top executive $1 million relationships, bruh?
So I mean, it's you got to be intentional about it. You got to be intentional. So I referenced earlier, like getting a large company like a Coca-Cola, a Home Depot, a MailChimp, or whatever, to do a pilot with your company is key. And so that being said, there are people, let's say people of color, that work for those organizations. So very tactically, it's about a few different things. Developing relationships with those people. And we know in many cases, your homeboy got somebody that work at Home Depot or Facebook, and maybe that's a little bit difficult, but somebody that knows somebody, right? Now then there's an interesting thing there. The person that works at this company has to put their reputation on the line for you. And so developing trust is the key thing to moving fast, right? And so what you can do to develop trust between people is show that you have evidence that you can handle what you're looking to do. So in many cases, people do have to take a leap of faith and give, the next founder, Black founder in this case, a shot. And once they get in the door with so this is how we do it. We've done it in the last few months. We found somebody that works for a large company. We say, okay, how much money can you pretty much put on your corporate card, or go to your boss without it being too much of a dust up? Mm-hmm. Let's figure out how to get this founder over here in through the door through that, and give them a pilot for 1 to 3 months. Once they do that, if it show improve, it's well, and then they kind of graduate to a larger pilot.
Gotcha.
But it takes literal intentional efforts like that in order to make it happen. Like there's no, you can somewhat scale that, but you got to just get a group of folks together and just make it happen. And to be clear, so if I could just share this.
Yes.
In the last 9 months in Atlanta, we've helped companies raise $7 million in venture capital funding, receive pilots with Delta, Home Depot, and a few other large companies by doing exactly what I just described.
You see my face?
Yeah.
See, I'm so excited that we are here. So, okay, listen, now I'm just super excited. Team, we need to get Joey Womack on the line, okay? Even though he's here right now, we need to get him on the line. Joey, listen, I love this. This is so fire. So, are you essentially saying, like, if a business, like, say myself, I'm starting up now, I don't know if you only work in the tech space, but if you have other urban CEOs out here maybe that are starting up different business ideas and they are wanting to be able to build those relationships, I know that's one thing that you do help with. How does someone necessarily qualify to work with you and your company? Because we're talking about big money here. And I know you're not just accepting any and everyone. A lot of challenges that we have as CEOs, y'all. We don't have our businesses set up right. We don't have a business license or any of that. So what qualifies someone to actually get in the door with you and your company?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna talk about it from the tech startup side of things, but I'm gonna transition to other types of companies. And at the end of the day, I don't believe the scalable tech startup is a true path that most people should take. So that being said, from a minimum standpoint, we look for a few different things. One, do you actually have a working product, like something that can be sold today? Right? Or are you relatively close? When I say relatively close, like you see the finish line in sight, you talk about 1, 2, maybe 3 months. Because oftentimes, we get people that are at the idea stage and, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong between idea and pilot. Like that's cool, but it's not what necessarily our assets are good for, right? Our strong suit is. That being said, do you have a working product? Are you clear with your business model? Do you clearly understand your problem? And can you explain it in one sentence or not, along with the value proposition? Like in many cases, I see founders that go on and talk for 3 or 4 minutes on the problem, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't. Like, and I get it. Right. I mean, I'm there. I mean, I'm a founder too, so I get it, right? Mm-hmm. The other thing is, does a founder clearly, if they're going for the scalable tech startup route, you pretty much only have 2 true options for your company's future. Either you're going to sell to a larger company because you're looking to raise money, or you're going to go IPO, like NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, so on and so forth. So do you have a plan to return money to your investors? If you don't have that, then it's a problem because it limits the type of help that we can give you. Now, this is for the people that are looking to turn to a scalable tech startup, the next big tech company. And to be clear, no matter what your background is, you're likely to fail, quite honestly. I hate to say that. That being said, one of the other routes to go, is doing a technology-enabled startup. And so in this case, you're leveraging, and pretty much everything is technology these days, you're leveraging technology to deliver value to your customers. You don't have to go and be $100 million startup. You can go from anywhere between $1 to $10 million in revenue and still do really, really, really well, right? And so in this case, the opportunity is to help you use technology to make your company more efficient. In many cases, the entrepreneurs that I see, particularly those of color, have marketing agencies, event companies. They're essentially service providers, which is awesome. The thing that's difficult for them to get to making a lot of money is that they can't control they can't control C, they can't copy themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only so much work they can do. And so the point I'm trying to make here is that if you can use technology to automate some of your internal processes so that it frees up your time to go chase more money,
Mm-hmm.
and then establish what we call recurring revenue models so that you can predict, I'm going to make $40,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $500,000 a month with my clients.
Right.
That's how you go from here to here. And it's not that difficult, relatively speaking.
Okay.
So that's what we do. So we look for, to go more so answer your question on that end, we look for companies that have, or founders in particular, that have a track record of making stuff happen. Bottom line, do you have a track record of making stuff happen? And do you have a type of company where we can help you create some type of system where you can have customers paying you on a monthly basis?
Nice. Okay, and then for the non-tech world, hook us up because we got some non-techs. Do you work with non-tech folks? And what are you guys looking for if it is in that space?
So here's the thing. Like, again, in 2020, like pretty much everybody is involved in technology in some way, shape, or form. So to be perfectly clear, if you are a consumer goods company,
Mm-hmm.
you do beauty, you do clothes, you do things like that, you can still leverage technology to do, to make a lot of money. So you think about subscription boxes.
Yeah.
It's a few dope companies doing socks and things of that nature. Like, there's a lot of really interesting things you can do, and we can help you. So for example, one of my good friends, actually a few of my good friends, do collab capital. So Julberg Solomon, Justin Dawkins, and Barry Gibbons. And so their first investment was in Hairbrella. Tracy Pickens, I'm not sure if you heard of Hairbrella, but
Mm-hmm.
Hairbrella is awesome, essentially hat for women when it rains. So not a tech company at all, but you can leverage technology to make it more scalable.
Right. Okay, you got my mind thinking because I have some ideas. I do have some ideas. we have some really, really cool things that we actually do in Urban CEO, and I see that as being an opportunity where we can make it scalable. So that is good, and I hope that everybody has their clocks moving, like their internal clocks moving, and thinking. I'm talking about your minds and thinking about like what it is that you could do to make your business scalable. Another thing that I really took away from you, a big, strong takeaway, is being intentional about the relationships that you build. And I think a lot of times, especially what I see from many people in the urban community is that we are just kind of like throwing stuff at the wall. Me, I'm very strategic about who I spend my energy with. And if I am building new relationships, they need to be beneficial. And so I think it's very important that we understand that, guys, when you're building these relationships out here and you're looking to be able to scale your business to another level, you got to be intentional. Do you have any places that you recommend? I have different places I tell people to go to meet these individuals, but what do you recommend to someone who's like, well, where do I find them? Like, where do I go to connect with these folks?
So there's a hot company based out of Los Angeles called Valence. So they're like a LinkedIn for like Black influencers. So Valence, VALENCE. It's an awesome place. You can just go. That's probably the place you could start out with. But to a certain extent, I hate to say this, but like Instagram. So the reason I say Instagram is because if you can get an influencer on your team to do an endorsement, and there's a way to pitch it to where you don't necessarily have to pay for this endorsement, that's going to open up a ton of doors for you. So here's kind of a play you can run to get them to do this, right? Especially depending on your company, it involves some level of social impact. So when I'm advising founders, I ask them to do, or I look them to do a few things. One, look at the causes some of these influencers are already kind of posting about, kind of organically. If you are kind of in that realm, is an opportunity for for you to approach them and kind of go from there. And so here's the pathway. You go for simply asking them for advice through an office hour scenario. And to get someone, when I say influencer, it doesn't have to be like a Kardashian.
Right.
It doesn't have, you can be an influencer, like a micro influencer. And here's a quick trick in order to get someone to give you advice. Talk to them about sharing what you're learning while you're building your company. Because most people that are very successful, they are lifelong learners. And so if you approach them and say, you know what, I'd love to get 15 minutes, 20 minutes of your time to learn, to learn about what you're doing, and also share what I'm learning while building XYZ company. Especially if you position it in a very unique way. If it's so, for example, one of the hottest startups that I work with is Aquagenuity Dollarvine. She does basically a 23andMe for water quality. Her whole thing was she's trying to prevent another Flint, Michigan. And she's like, there are right now in the U.S., and I don't want to scare your viewers, but there are 3,000 Flints in the U.S. that no one talks about. So if I come to you and know you're interested in kind of helping out people and say, hey, like, I'd love to share with you about how there's 3,000 more Flints in the U.S., when I'm learning while building this product, can also get some advice. You go from office hours, 15, 20, 30 minutes. You do that a few times. You then turn that into an official mentor-mentee relationship, which is a formal relationship between people. And then you evolve that into an advisor company relationship. And so then you say that this famous person, this influencer, is an advisor to my company, right. And that'll open up a lot of doors for you. I've seen it happen over and over again, and it's how people win.
I love that. Thank you so much for that tip. And I'm sure many people are going to want to know more. Are these things that you also kind of help people with? Like, sometimes you need a little coaching. Like, okay, this is what I need to do next. What I need to say next. Are these some of the things that people actually hire your company to assist them with?
Sure. Yep.
Okay. Well, do me a favor. Put them on. How can they get in contact with you to be able to just enlist some of the services that you provide?
Sure. You can just look me up on LinkedIn, honestly. Joey Womack on LinkedIn. There's a few, but I'm not the only Black dude that comes up, so it should be relatively easy. Drop a note and say, hey, I saw you on this show, blah, 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 because I get a lot of requests. I mean, you can also go to things like just look up WeWork Labs. You can look up Goodie Nation, GOODIE, nation.org. And also find me on Twitter at Joey Digital.
Okay, and we also have on the screen, we have like joey.digital, as well as that for your website. Is that your website as well? Which is dope.
Oh, yeah, that's my personal website.
Yeah, so make sure you guys do reach out to him. Let him know that you actually caught him on As Real As It Gets TV. Joey, as we get ready to wrap up, and this was definitely a very interesting conversation. I think that I foresee us having a little bit more of a deeper conversation on this, because it's not, for what I feel within our community, that we actually connect to. They need to be connected to more of this. What are the last imparting words that you would like to leave with our urban CEOs?
Oh, man. It always goes, what am I feeling at the moment? Whenever I get asked a question like this.
I love it. I love it. I want to know. Look, it don't even have to be connected to what we're talking about. Go ahead and share.
Right? It's your time. It's your time. And in the era of COVID, so it's weird, right? Especially as a Black person in America, in the era of COVID and a pandemic, but also at the same time, this racial justice uprising in the country, returning the awakening. It's your time to make stuff happen. Many of us, many entrepreneurs, many founders of color have been doing more with less for forever. So I know there are many founders struggling in this time, but still is an opportunity to reinvent yourself, use innovation, and scale it. I've seen it. I mean, scale it like the internet is now your friend. Geography is no longer a barrier. So use the innovation that you are born with, it's in your soul, and make it happen.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Joey, for being here. Hopefully this is not the last time you are here. And we plan to, like I said, I want to dig deeper into these conversations. Relationships are very important when it comes to the urban community, and especially in the tech space. Just understanding some of the stuff that you have available for individuals. I mean, literally somebody might be watching this show and say, you know what, let me come up with an idea. And then next thing you know, they're going to say, I was watching As Real As It Gets, and you had that guy Joey on the show, and I hired him and his team, and now look at where we are, and I'll be grateful for that. But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Look forward to the future.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's another one of our incredible VIP guests. Make sure that you plug into him, pull up on him. And if you're in Atlanta, Georgia, of course, you guys know you're a little bit closer to him. And I love everything that he shared. I mean, honestly, guys, yes, this whole situation that we are in, it has forced us to be innovative and just really kind of just redo the way that we did our businesses. I know for me, the first couple of weeks that we were, shut down, I went through anxiety. I didn't know what was going on. And I had to figure this thing out, child. And I said, look, we're going to have to use technology. We've been doing broadcasts. We're doing virtual boot camps, all types of stuff. And guess what? Our business has not only survived, it has thrived. So with that said, like he said, it is your time. It's your time, guys. And I'm going to tell you this. If I can let you know one thing, ain't nobody gonna come save you. You've got to make a decision that you're going to save yourself. And this is the best time to do it. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and finish this show on up. We appreciate you guys for being here, and we will see you on the next edition of As Real as It Gets TV. Deuces.